From Summer Wonder Festival 2022, we have several new releases from X Plus that we're taking a look at today. First, starting with the gigantic series King Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. This was something that I'm sure some people were expecting they do eventually, and now that we see the prototype of this figure, it's really impressive looking. It's not something that I'm personally going to be getting, but we do have some pictures here that show off how great this sculpt looks on this figure. In this photo, we have Kong paired up with the gigantic series Godzilla 2019, which is an awesome figure. Granted, this angle is a little weird, so you can't really get a good idea of what they look like directly next to each other, but rest assured that they do scale very well with each other, which looks really cool. I do like the pose they chose for Kong, especially compared to the 25 centimeter figure. While that one looks really good, it does feel like it's very still. This one feels much more dynamic. Obviously, he's like bumping his chest and roaring, which is really cool. I like this pose a lot. The legs are kind of in different positions. He looks like he's ready to fight, which is awesome. This is a really awesome figure that will look great next to a Godzilla for sure. Currently, there is no release date for this figure, but you know, with the way X Plus works, right now we're seeing the prototype. Eventually, we'll see the painted one probably at another festival, and probably around 2023, we will likely see this figure be released to the public. Next up, we're taking a look at the Toho Large Monster Series Godzilla 1992 from Godzilla vs. Mothra. Again, we're looking here at an unpainted prototype, so we're in the early stages of looking at this figure. No dates yet exactly for when this will be released, but another figure in the 25 centimeter line, which is always cool. The sculpt looks really good. I like the pose, and I'm sure once it's painted, it'll look even better, of course. But this will be a nice change of pace from the 30 centimeter Godzilla 92, which goes back a long time now at this point, but I know a lot of people have said, and I agree, that the head sculpt on that one is a little weird looking, but I'm sure for those of you who like to collect all these lines, this one will be a nice addition to the collection that will be the more accurate one, I guess. That being said, we do have some photos here of this Godzilla paired up with the 25 centimeter Mothra from the same movie, and I've noticed that some people have said that this Godzilla looks a little too small in comparison to the Mothra. I can't really speak to that as well because, you know, I don't really have the eye for this particular design. I can't really say so, but if you think so, comment down below what you think about the scale of this figure in comparison to the Mothra. I have these pictures here that you can use for reference. Granted, they're at weird angles, I guess, so you can't really get a great idea of what they look like side by side, but I'm sure you've seen other photos on Facebook at this point. But comment down below what you think about the size of this particular Godzilla figure. Now, here's a figure that caught my eye. Those who know me know that aside from Shin Godzilla, Showa Mechagodzilla is my second favorite kaiju, or mecha, whatever you want to call him, among everything Godzilla. So this is actually going to be a 30 centimeter figure in the Favorite Sculptors line. At first, I thought to myself before reading the plaque, oh, another re-release of the gigantic Mechagodzilla. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is this not the same sculpt as the gigantic that was released this past year? To my knowledge, I believe this is taken from a resin kit from a company called Monster Maker 28. So as X Plus does with some figures, they transfer resin sculpts into vinyl, and that seems to be the case with this particular figure. We don't have any release dates yet for this figure, but it does look really cool. I love Mechagodzilla, and I actually don't own any in the 30 centimeter scale, so this is something I might be considering getting in the future, but I will wait to see what the painted final images look like. Regardless, I'm sure it will look awesome. It does have a tail stand currently, so I know those of you who don't like tail stands, I'm sorry that's the case with this one, but that aside, the sculpt looks really cool. I do like the arm pose a lot. I've seen people say that this might not be articulated because it's based off of the resin kit. If that's the case, I'm fine with that, just because I think a 30 centimeter scale Mechagodzilla like this would look so cool. It's very imposing looking. I like the slight head tilt down, and you know, it just looks awesome. But like I said, this figure is still in the very early stages. It's not even painted yet, so we have some time to go before we actually see these things become available. So, switching gears to something that's not actually a prototype, the 25 centimeter King Ghidorah 2019 was actually on display at X Plus's booth, and we have some really cool pictures here to show off the scale compared to the 25 centimeter Godzilla 2019, and we even have Rodan in the background. All we're missing now is a Mothra. At this point, this figure's been up for pre-order for quite some time, so I'm sure many people are very excited to finally get this one in hand, but I'm sure these pictures undoubtedly only fuel the excitement further. Seeing this image here, of Ghidorah next to the 25 centimeter Godzilla 2019. I mean, wow, this thing is so impressive. The fact that it's a 25 centimeter scale figure and it's this big, I know this is something that people have talked about, but, you know, Ghidorah 2019 is such an imposing character, and I feel like X Plus really captured it with this sculpt. The stance is just so striking, I guess is the best word to describe it. Ghidorah in general, any design, what I really love about Ghidorah is just the fact that since you have 3 heads, you can always have them in different positions and expressions, and that really adds, I don't know, such a cool personality to the character, and this figure is no exception. It looks so cool. The wingspan is insane. And we have this picture from behind the figure, so we get a good idea of what it looks like in the back. The texture on it looks just as good as it does in the front. The wings actually kind of look leathery, which is interesting. Very well done. Various textures throughout the whole thing. I do like the 2 different poses for the tail. Just gives the idea that this figure is moving, like Ghidorah is mid-walk or mid-fight. Really cool. But yeah, now it's just a matter of time till this figure releases. I'm sure a lot of you guys are very excited for this one to come out. I can't wait to see pictures of it. I don't have it personally myself pre-ordered, but I'm sure it will look amazing nonetheless. Seeing that image of Rodan in the distance with Godzilla here in the forefront just, you know, begs the question, when are they going to put out the Mothra? Because you know it's going to happen. And considering they did Ghidorah, which was something that a lot of people didn't even expect they do in this scale just because of how big it would be, Mothra should be no problem. I'm sure we'll see her maybe within the next year, which will be really cool. And then those of you who like King of the Monsters will have a full King of the Monsters set, which is awesome. Now we move on to the Defa-Reals. We have on display here the Final Wars Godzilla and Monster X. Now, we actually saw an unpainted prototype of the Monster X Defa-Reel at the last show that X Plus was at, so now we have the fully painted version of the figure, which looks spectacular. And the Final Wars Goji to go with it is the perfect complement. It looks great in Defa-Reel form. These two look awesome together or by themselves, but let's take a closer look at each one individually. So this particular image of the Final Wars Godzilla Defa-Reel has a little manila accessory to the side of it, which looks really cool, very cute. But I guess the implication is that a Rick version would have this manila figure to go with it, and presumably the standard would just be the Godzilla by itself without any accessories. With that said, the sculpt on this Final Wars Godzilla is what we've come to know at this point with the Defa-Reels. The quality is there, it looks awesome. I'm always impressed by how they redesign these characters to fit into this chibi style, and this one is no exception. The eyes look fantastic, the ears, the teeth, the scales, all of it amazing. I love it. Those of you who love Defa-Reels, like I do, I'm sure that you would be interested in this figure as well. I'm not sure yet if I will pick this one up. Seeing it for the first time right now, I adore it. I think it looks so good. I'm just always impressed by these sculpts. It's something I will strongly consider, and if I do get it, I would likely get the Rick just to have the manila go with it. I do like the fact that the manila does have a little building with it too, which is cool. Just like the Godzilla Defa-Reel we just looked at, it looks like this Monster X will have a Rick version as well, which will include a Zillion minifigure, which is a really cool accessory to have. I'm glad these two figures in particular are not just Rick light-ups, but instead include accessories, because it's always nice to have add-ons that are different from just light-ups. These two figures are definitely a welcome addition to the Defa-Reel lineup, and it's great to have some Final Wars representation in the Defa-Reel line. No dates yet for either of these Defa-Reels, but considering that they're painted, I wouldn't be surprised if these went up for pre-order not too far from now. Now we have this picture here as well with a bunch of other non-Godzilla related things I'm not going to talk about, but there's Gamera and Ultraman stuff, which looks really good. But to the left you can see the Mothra, there's the Defa-Reel Megalon, which should be coming out, I believe, October, if I'm not mistaken. That one I have on pre-order, and I did do a video on, so definitely check that out if you're interested. And then you can see here a Zillion figure that is part of the Toho Maniacs line, prototype right there in the distance, which looks really cool. I'm curious to see what other characters X Plus winds up putting in their Toho Maniacs line. Let me know down below what other characters you'd want to see. Anyway, these were the big things that I wanted to talk about that we got to see from X Plus at Summer Wonder Festival 2022. I know a lot of people were expecting some other releases to be announced, but currently I'm fine with what they announced. There's nothing too crazy here. Out of the bunch, the Mechagodzilla appeals to me. The Defa-Reels look pretty cool. I'm definitely not sure yet what I'll be getting definitively, but I am curious to know what you guys like out of the bunch the most. if you're considering getting any of these, all of these, which one specifically. But this is it for the video, so if you're new to this channel and you like this video, please consider subscribing and take a look at my other Godzilla figure content that I have posted here on the channel as well, and follow me on Instagram at Total Approximation, where I post Godzilla toy photography each week. Anyway, thank you for watching, and have a good one.